Welcome to the Roofing Operating System podcast with collab with the Blue Collar Visionary podcast with my man, Danny Greene, a video and podcast consultant and content marketing agency owner, to discuss how roofing contractors can leverage video storytelling and content marketing to stand out in a crowded market. We'll explore how authentic content can build your brand, establish trust, and generate consistent leads for your roofing business. Now, Dan's going to share proven strategies for creating engaging videos, growing your online presence, and turning your company's story into a powerful marketing asset. My man, Danny Greene with Greene Media. Thanks for joining us, my friend.
Come on, Nick. Love that intro. Let's go, man. I'm going to deliver on those promises.
Let's go,
I
baby.
didn't know about these promises, but let's go. Let's get after it, man.
Let's go, man. Hey, this guy, Danny Greene, he's one of the best, all right? He's been doing this for a long time. He creates really good content. He's helping a lot of contractors throughout their country tell their story and generate leads, right? So, what does like video storytelling really mean to you? And how do you think roofing companies can use that strategy to stand out in crowded marketplaces? For example, out here in Denver, we got 4,000 roofers.
Mm-hmm. Well, right off the bat, man, video is the closest thing to just a real life interaction. And whenever possible, you want to get in real life. If I could scale one-to-one coffee meetings all day long with potential clients, I would do that. And that'll be my marketing strategy. And I'm in a networking group, and that's one of my main revenue sources. But, time and energy is capped. At some point, you only got so much. So you got to figure out how to scale that up. And so what video does, it's not necessarily about the ads. It's not necessarily about, streamlining your systems and your processes. To me, what I try to capture in video is that authentic relationship about what it's going to be like doing business with your company. And people are afraid of, letting themselves be seen. And a lot of business owners, they hide behind this logo. They hide behind a name that means nothing. And then they wonder why they can't get any business, because it's like, dude, I don't know anything about you. At the end of the day, we're in a people business. Every business is a people business. So people get really scared about video. There's something, even myself, it's a practice that you have to do on a consistent basis to feel good with the camera. And there are some lenses that lenses, depending on the focal length, they put 10 pounds on you. And there's just certain things about cameras that it just isn't.
Do they actually? They'll put 10 pounds on you, man? Maybe that's what it is. I gotta switch my lens up, bro.
Switch the lens up, man. Yeah, the longer the higher the focal length, the better. So that's gonna get you that chiseled jaw. But then you got to shoot from 200 yards away. But it'll have that. You'll get that Tom Brady jaw. But yeah, anyways, I'm kind of going on a long rant. But to me, video is just building relationships at scale, is building trust at scale.
100%. And so when you're looking at contractors and you're looking at the blue collar visionary, if you will, right? That's what you're all about. You're all about the American dream for these contractors, which is basically the same mission that I'm on. Now, when you start to work with these contractors, what are some of the first things you're noticing? Are they usually not using video? Are they afraid to showcase their face? Are they maybe not showing enough of their team and actual people to kind of cast that story? What are some the main issues that you're seeing and first things you're seeing when you're working with a contractor?
Yeah, first off, most of them are doing nothing. So it's if you can just start doing something, use Facebook, use Instagram, that's better than nothing. Typically, I'm not actually working with those people because it's they're not ready for me yet. They can just start posting photos of the work. Where I come in is when people want to build their brand a little bit. I work good with companies that have a sales team of at least, say, 3 or more. And it's about creating. I kind of have 2 different packages or 2 different avenues. One is more the sales assets, which are more timeless. And those are going to be for, higher ticket items that you're still doing door-to-door or home service sales, where you want to create something that shows the finished product, that shows the process, that backs up, backs up the words you're saying. So those are service explainer videos. Those are testimonial videos, project highlights, and really you can create videos that are combinations of all those. And so that's like one problem I solve, is trying to just help salespeople, arm them with marketing assets that actually builds trust with the words they're saying. They're
So
not just
what's an example is that? Is that basically like, hey, you got these 3 salespeople, right? And you're going to go meet with those salespeople and create marketing assets for each one of them. So before they come over to the homeowner's house, you have like an intro video or something like that. Like what does that really look like?
What it looks like is I'm not necessarily making individual salesman videos. It's company level videos. But so Erickson Asphalt and Concrete. Okay, they're what are they? I think they're a $10 million company. They're a $10 million company. They've grown every year for the last 35 years. They're just like slow and steady, but they're just foundationally solid. But they're at a point now that they have the next generation of Ericssons coming up, and they want to continue to push. They're about our age, and they're like, all right, yeah, like it's been great, but hey, let's take this baby to the next level. Let's buy a couple more trucks. Let's expand. And so with them, they have a lot of different services, and they're all pretty high ticket. One service may be I did a video about what it means and what it looks like for replacing a concrete apron. And so you're in a home, you're at a prospect's home, and you're like, hey, yeah, we can come in, we can replace your apron, we can do this. This is about how long it takes. This is what you can expect. Well, words are, everybody is weary of the salesman, but the minute you take out a video and you're like, and so here's a 30-second video, high energy, no words were needed. I mean, it's all self-explanatory. You watch the video before, during, after, you see the whole thing, and you see the exact product that you're going to get. That builds so much trust, because it's the process. People trust the process, because when you sell a process, you can then promise that result. It's like, it's not just you didn't get lucky, bro. This is our process. And so when you capture 100%. That in video, it's just, I mean, the close rates go, I forget, I don't even know what their percentage close rates are, but they go up. I'm telling you, they go up, and they go up fast. And
it's almost just like it's creating clarity, right? Because, if you're a homeowner or a property owner, and you really don't know what to expect, you get a little bit nervous, and the more that you can use video to explain the process, the people, the experience, everything like that, now all of a sudden they don't have to use their imagination to worry. They're getting a complete understanding and clarity of what to expect and why to go with you.
100%. And one thing that people don't necessarily think about is the subconscious effects that it has, the things that you don't need to say. But if I'm in your house, say I'm running a $10 million company and I do, asphalt and concrete replacement, I'm one person right here. I don't have this. I might have a nice shirt on, but like anyone can buy a nice shirt. But when you show a video that has your Mack trucks in it, it shows your guys in uniform. It shows your guys smiling. It shows the front loaders and like the cement trucks and all this stuff. It's like, oh, okay. And it shows a client's house that's a $1 million house. It's like, well, there's the social proof. It works for that guy. Yeah. It's all the subconscious effects that people don't think about, but it's like that's what really persuades people to be like, all right, yeah, I mean, you might be 30% higher than the other guy or maybe 10% higher, but I trust you. You're going to get it done. Let's rock and roll.
And I like that you said like the premium. So for me, like ideally, I do like to work with premium contractors. Yeah. I'm not going to be looking to work with contractors who are the cheapest of them, the budget contractor, right? Because let's be real, any budget contractor is going to be out of business any day now, right? You can't be winning on price. It is a recipe for disaster, right? So like the premium contractor, what do you want to do to get more premium work? you showcase your premium work and get testimonials and
Exactly.
footage and proof that that's what you do is you do premium roof. So now when a premium homeowner or property owner goes to your site, goes to your social media, everything like that, they go, oh, this is the contract I need. They work with people like me, right? And so it's like I'd be doing that with my video, my sales presentation, or like that to match up that ideal customer that you're trying to work for,
100%.
right?
And it bothers me sometimes. I mean, it doesn't keep me up at night, but it just is like a mindset thing where it's like people say, "Oh, I'm so busy right now. I don't need marketing." It's like, bro, you're busy doing the menial tasks. You're busy doing like, don't you want to do like, what if you could take that top 5% of your customer base and expand it to be 80% of your customer base? We're not talking about a marketing for volume right now. We're talking about marketing to create a better business, because when you have more profit, you can deliver a better service, you can hire better people. A lot of profit basically solves all the problems. So yeah.
It sure does. Profit and sales, baby.
Yep.
Profit and sales, profitable sales, I guess you should say, right? And I agree 100%. So I want to take this because, you know, a lot of our clientele is going to be in the roofing space, right? And so let's just do we'll take two scenarios, how about? And we can try to figure out some good video ideas or different content strategies for them. Does that sound good?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, so I'm gonna start with two. The first one we'll go through is a residential roofer. All right, we'll say it's out here in Denver, and they do a lot of storm work, right? And it's hail season. And the other one we'll do is like a complex roofing contractor in commercial out in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Shout out. All right. So let's start out with the residential roofing contractor. We got Peret's Roofing out here in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. And it is hail season upon us. And I just hit up Danny and I'm like, dude, Danny, you know, what are some, you know, some 3 videos maybe that we could do that we could use through our sales process and use for maybe some advertising stuff? You know, Danny, you got any ideas?
Yeah. Well, one right off the bat, I mean, you're a storm chaser, so you're probably not my ideal client. But if let's just go with it. So,
Hey, what? Hey, I'm not chasing. The storm's in my backyard, baby. It's in the backyard.
oh, okay,
All the roofers out here, it is what it is,
yeah.
right? We live in a hail market, Denver, so it's getting pounded. I'm capturing the storm basically.
All right, I mean, it's a volume game. You just got to get out there and you got to do as much as you can to be the person people think about. So, from a strictly video standpoint, you just dump money into paid ads on Facebook and make it super. I mean, with AI these days, you can test a whole bunch of different types of ads, but I'd say that makes the most sense from a video standpoint. It's a very small window of time that you can go capitalize. So hire as many subcontract salesmen and hire as many and dump as much as you can into paid ads. And then if you want to create, I mean, I don't know if you're going to have time to create a brand story video or anything like that to if it's upon you already. But if you want to prepare for the next storm that comes, I would say,
let's say we're prepping.
All right, well then get testimonials, get like 3 to 5. First off, have a really clean presentation. It's just ridiculous how many contractors out there have no professionalism when it comes to presentation. So go get some iPads refurbished. Go pay for a service like Engage. My boy Dean Curtis will hook you up, and what that is, it's a very professional. It's like a PowerPoint idea, but way more interactive. You can have all sorts of media, and it just is a crisp presentation. So have that. Have some testimonial videos in there. Some, I mean, that's really the main thing, dude. Is just trust and like social proof, because most of the other storm chasers will just be it's a volume game for everybody. But if you can just build so the faster you can build trust, the better. So am I going to be able to build?
So is that what the Facebook ad is then? The Facebook ad, you're just running straight testimonials, you think, or what do you running on the Facebook ad?
Probably not yet. Facebook ad would be more awareness. So it'd be like, were you affected by last week's storm in Highland Park, Colorado? We can, it'd be like simplifying everybody's hoping for a storm with their roof so they get the roof replacement for free, so like somehow tap into that. It's like we make, I don't know, we make working with the insurance agency a breeze, and we'll have your roof up in no time, and you won't. Yeah, I don't know. Somehow get it really. I don't even know if you have to do that, but yeah, figure out the messaging. I don't know off the top of my head, but that's the
Yeah,
idea.
no, 100%. So basically, we're starting out with first the videos are just going to be testimonial type stuff. We're building up that for trust, and then with the Facebook ads, it's more just focusing on the event that just happened.
Yeah, and
right.
like,
So what about
and
like
one thing? Like, I know we're talking video, but when it comes to storm, like I know this guy locally. He runs an airplane banner business, and he'll do like a storm just happened. He'll run an airplane banner in the area of the damaged place and with the contracts, or like think creatively. You want to stand out. So maybe Facebook ads
100%?
isn't the best place, but if it is a good place. It's easy, but
What about sense of humor though? What do you think is sense of humor then? Like bringing in like a little bit of a wittiness. You know what I mean? Even though it is a sensitive topic, do you agree on stuff like that, or is that something you wouldn't
I
utilize?
tend to think clarity over cleverness always wins.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, you just want to be clear. And now if it's like part of your brand, I don't know, go for it. It's not really I'm not really like the meme guy with my business page or whatever. So I don't necessarily recommend other people do that just because I don't do it. But if it works, hey, go for it, But yeah, I'd probably go as a kind of a copywriting 101 rule is always clarity beats cleverness.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. So okay, what about like website stuff then? Should you have like, videos on the website? Maybe you have somebody who comes from the Facebook ad or whatever it might be on the landing page. Are you seeing contractors utilizing on the website or on just everyday type social media and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, so we're talking like a funnel now, and if they click on, you might want to have a video sales letter if they click after the ad, or maybe it's just a simple form. Again, we're just trying to build trust as fast as possible. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say as far as I'm not like a ads funnel expert here, so I'm not quite sure, but you
Yeah,
just want
100%.
a mixture of testimonials, of brand, like a brand story that shares kind of who you are, your core values, the people on your team, a video that's showing you do the work, and then for social media to stay like top of mind, just like frequently answering frequently asked questions, showing before and after photos of completed projects, and that sort of thing. Just kind of a mixture of, if you really want like
A good little
if you
blend.
want a whole like blueprint strategy, just chat GPT it and it'll come up with 100 different variations. Yeah.
So I mean, it looks like your four main ones are brand story, right? You already mentioned client success stories, the service explainers, and the project showcases, right? It seems like those are kind of like the four winning buckets,
Those are the
right?
pillars. I would say those are the pillars. At least for me,
Yeah,
that's what works for clients.
100%. So when you're looking at like the brand story, I feel like that's an area that contractors struggle with. What do you think?
Yeah. I don't see it. The thing about a brand story is it serves. It's not necessarily probably the most impactful business or video for a business from like 1 to 10 million. Like, I think like it's not going to hurt you, but you have limited dollars. And so the power of a brand story is a couple things. 3 things. I'll give you 3 things, okay? The first one is surprising to most people. A brand story is powerful for the internal engagement and buy-in it gets with your company. When people get on camera, they talk about their core values. They talk about why they love working here. They talk about the vision of the future, about things that they appreciate. It catalyzes a team in a way that really surprises people. Because how often do we, like, for the most part, core values and mission statements and all that stuff that gets plastered on a wall, it becomes part of the wallpaper. Like, it doesn't affect you. But when people lose focus of what their company is, we all go through those stages of like, what am I doing, man? And then you click this brand story and you get reminded of the people you've helped. You get reminded of where you've been. You get reminded of where you're going. Video is just charged with emotion. So that it helps internally first. And then the second two, obviously, is it helps you get clients that are attracted to your core values and attracted to your way of being and seeing reality, your worldview, and it attracts employees too. So it's called a brand story for a reason, because branding is it takes time. It's a thing that it just takes time to build. It's hard to measure.
But you clearly care about it, though.
Well, I
right?
love
you
doing
keep
it.
saying, hey, it's hard to measure. It might not have the biggest impact, right? You're saying this stuff to me. But, dude, you had a podcast for how many years now that calls the Brand Builders Podcast? Clearly, you think this is one of the biggest aspects of opportunity for these guys, right? I mean, this is something that means something to you.
100%. And that's... It's hard to come across people, and I should say, even for myself, it's tough to see the big picture sometimes. We're in it day to day, and it's like, is this urgent? No, put it to the side. And so it's that type of thing, man. It's investing. It's like, I should be putting away 10% of my monthly revenue into in a savings account. Am I doing it? Not really. Sometimes I'll take a chunk and other times not. Like, it's the type of thing that in 20 years I'm gonna be so happy I did that consistently. It's going to the gym consistently. But that's what brand is.
Hey, why can Apple charge 5 times, 6 times, 7 times more than any other kind of electronic brand, right? For my MacBook, dude, I got this fully loaded. It was like $5,000. You know what I mean? Why was it so expensive?
Exactly.
The storytelling, the brand story.
That's why
right?
I started.
Different.
That's why I started the podcast. I'm like, what is the deal with this, man? I wanted to start a clothing company of my own, like, I don't know, 7 years ago, and I was like, I just need to understand why, Nike can sell their shirt for 10 times the price. Walmart can sell like the same basic black T-shirt. Brand,
and that's why, right? And it is. I think sometimes the brand story, I think too, is really diving into the customer, right? When you look at Apple, it's think different, right? You look at Nike, just do it, right? And both of those slogans alone, just with the slogans, have nothing to do with the products. It's about the people who use the product, telling them to think different, right? Getting in the minds of a creative who is a little bit out there and thinks differently, right? Just do it. The athlete who's told time and time and again, hey, they can't do it, or they're burnt out, they're tired, they're injured, right? And they figure out a way to just do it, right? The inspiring stories of athletes around the world, right? That's what it's about. And you want to be just like those individuals, right? And I think it's almost like, for me, it's like that brand story is almost telling the story of your customers sometimes too, right? And I think that's what you're doing when you're showcasing those customer wins and stuff like that.
100%. Yeah, no, that's I don't think I have much to add to that, other than one thing. Like, brand to me, you can listen to a lot of experts. Hermosi talks about how it's like, the pairing of different things. But to me, simply, like, brand is, one, your reputation, and two, it's just a feel. It's a feeling. It's like, what's the brand? What's Nick's brand? When I think of you, man, everyone's got a brand. Everyone's got a personal brand. Everyone's got a company brand. When I think about you, I think about somebody like a hard charger, like somebody that has, like, their mindset is top 1% when it comes to, like, mental toughness. I think about just like gritty hard work, and I think about resilience. And now that's because that's my exposure to you, and those are the interactions, and that's been the flow between us. Your brand to your wife is going to be something different, and
It is.
and so on.
Stubborn.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you might have to work on that brand reputation there.
Yeah, I have to work on my branding with my wife.
But the point is, okay, it's different to every people, but what's this, like, you have to know internally, like, you're the center of it, and that's why core values, and that's what's like beliefs and your character, everyone's gonna just see a sliver of it, and it's hard to control the sliver that people get exposure to. So the whole thing has to just be like, you gotta be intentional, you gotta be solid, and that's why entrepreneurship, business ownership, it's the ultimate self-development. It's like, if I want to be successful,
it really is.
You got to be a good, for long sustained success, character matters.
100%, dude. Yeah, I love that. I mean, one thing that kind of I was thinking about is one of the core pillars that you have for your video production services is the service explainer. And it's funny because, with Better Boss, I feel like it's a much more complicated than the previous business when we were automating commercial lead development, sales automation, all that kind of stuff. It was very simple. People understood it. But with Better Boss, with the fractional CTO, the implementation services, all this kind of stuff, it was a little bit more complicated. So something that I've been working on with my brand is just simplifying everything. And I think there's a lot of contractors out there, for example, like a commercial roofer, right? It might be $1 million project. It's got TPO. It's got all these complicated terms, right? Which a customer really does not necessarily care about. When you're doing stuff like the service explainers for these contractors, right? And we'll go back to the second scenario. We'll take the complex commercial roofer out in Minneapolis. With that, is that kind of a goal or something that you're trying to think about, or do you like the complexity, or you show that you're an expertise? Is it a mixed bag?
Yeah, so I'll talk with the client beforehand and be like, all right, so what are like the key things that we need to show here, and we'll capture that and make sure that you just kind of timeline out what are the checkpoints that we want to be able to show, and then it's like, then you got to throw in a little sizzle, so for some, if you got like a blowtorch or whatever, like that's what this asphalt company, they just had some cool things that, like, you throw a little slow-mo on that and it's like, oh, that's fire, man. Like, literally. Yeah, like that,
dude, the slow-mo is fire though.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, when used properly, it's like, oh yeah. And it just, I mean, some of marketing is like, you gotta, make it shiny. You gotta make it look cool, So
100%.
So yeah, it's about not getting into the weeds, but balancing out,
which I think is an issue. I feel like that's an issue. Even for myself, sometimes I feel like it's just like getting into the weeds too much. You know what I mean? They don't care about the weeds. No. They just care about the solution. What are you going to do to help them, right?
Yeah, it is interesting. It's a balance because it's like you kind of want to show the person you're talking to, your prospect, that you are like knowledgeable and adept, and like you can the weeds, but you don't necessarily have to explain the weeds. So I don't know. You can just throw it, like a little tip is you can just throw out some terms, some weed terms
just showcase you're an expert, but not dive too deep.
In conversation, just throw out a couple, jargon terms without, people can do they can understand things in context, and you just keep moving. But yeah, you just don't get too deep. You want to keep things simple, and when it really matters, just keep it simple, and they just want the outcome.
Amen to that. Amen to that. So what about like when your production process, like, do you kind of have like a breakdown of a framework of like what a good video looks like? Like, is it hooks? Is it attention holders? You mentioned like the sizzle. Like, is the sizzle kind of a way to kind of keep the attention, where like all of a sudden the engagement of watching the video can kind of go up a little bit? Or like, what's kind of like your process and like your components, I guess?
Yeah. That is a very broad question, and a lot of videos can have different things and different frameworks. And so what I'll say for the process, first off is understanding what is the objective. Like, are we trying to build awareness, engagement? Are we trying to educate on a very specific topic? There's a term in the military called commander's intent, and I love it because it's a one sentence thing at the top of the document that goes out to the generals or the field staff, and it's like, you can come up with a whole detailed plan. Like, first we're gonna flank them, or all the military strategy things. But at the very top, it just says take the hill. Okay, however you want to do it,
Yeah.
you want to take the hill. That's the commander's intent. So apply that to
Yeah.
video. What do we want? We want customers to click more information or click quote now, or we want them to click to our website. That's the intent.
Goal first. What's the point?
What's the point, man? What's the point? And then from there, we figure out, what the best way to do that is. Is it short form? Is it long form? Is it, maybe it's a picture, like whatever it is. Like, I'm not gonna just shove video down your throat, and other marketers shouldn't either, videographers shouldn't either. Like, in some cases, just
but dude, go look at my Instagram. I know I'm at the best one, dude. Do you know how many videos I post comparison to photos?
No, I don't.
I don't think I post any photos. Nobody cares about a photo anymore, right?
It's just, dude, there's so much. Yeah, you can lie. Photos, they're pretty. But
nobody cares about a
they
photo,
don't build
dude. What, they're gonna read
trust,
your
man.
text, dude?
Yeah, they just don't build trust.
No, there's nothing there, dude. We're living this virtual world of virtual meetings and stuff like that, dude. You gotta showcase video all day, every day, bro. And I know I'm not the best content creator. I know I'm not to the level that you are. I know the quality isn't. But dude, I have a commitment where all I do is produce videos. I'm trying to get videos out every single week, dude. YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, dude, you name it, dude. I'm trying to pound it, dude.
Yeah. Well, and
that's the opportunity now.
It is. And what's awesome too is that all the practice that you're putting into that, it translates to off the field too. So when you're at a social, you're at a party or you're at somewhere else, you're like a business networking event, like
speaking event, anything.
Now you're just used to talking. You're used to, you figure out how to convey a message in the most concise way possible, and like all the frameworks they translate.
I mean, dude, that's why it's like, dude, when I was trying to talk about Better Boss, man, I was struggling so much for like my elevator pitches and stuff like that. And honestly, I think that's probably what helped me kind of figure it out was the process of just my script writing, my video content, going on podcasts, all this kind of stuff, basically content creation, to the point where, it might have been a little bit rough in terms of my pitch, like my, unique selling proposition, how to simplify our messaging, all this kind of stuff, right? And I think the whole process of me going through that and doing stuff like this has allowed me to refine that messaging more and more, right? Where now, no matter what situation I'm in, it's improved, right?
Yes. Dude, great point. That happened to me the other day, when you practice like writing out something and you're like, you think about your offer and you think about even like copywriting it or whatever. And then you bump into somebody and there's an opportunity that arises. You have it dialed in, and then you just say it to them. It's like the video was the practice, and now off the field, you're like, you're good to go. You have the script, it. And
exactly,
man, that's like big ROI. Let me ask you this: what do you have you noticed video? Is video tactical for you, or is it more strategical? Like, and what I mean by that, do you see it producing results, or is it something that you do to build your brand?
I think a little bit of both. You got to think. So basically, I've been working in the contracting and roofing space for almost a decade now, right? And so it got to the point. I remember like 5 years ago, me and my buddy Randy Brothers, he has like a $20 million roofing company, right? Me and him did a podcast, 200 episodes, right? And honestly, I thought, you see it a little bit, but I didn't know if the results were that crazy until I went to a roofing conference, and I'm walking down the aisle to kind of find my seat for this presentation or whatever, and someone says to me, "We are live," and I used to say that every single episode because we used to do it on Facebook Live,
Nice.
right? And so that was kind of like my
Love
tagline.
it.
And I'm like, dude, I don't even know who the hell this guy. He's like, dude, I've been listening to you in the truck for how long, right?
Incredible.
Or I just met my buddy Benny Farha with Farha Roofing, dude. He's got locations all across the country. I over the weekend, me and my wife went and hung out with his family for a little bit, and dude, I got to work with that dude for like 5-6 years, man, and he was one of my favorite customers. And literally, he would drive from location to location in his truck because he loves doing it, right? Like, and he's just taking phone calls, and he started listening to the podcast, and that's how we got him as a
Mm-hmm.
customer. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And it's one of those things where we were able to kind of build this little mini community from it, where I just feel like if I wasn't making content, if I wasn't making videos, I think that no one would know who I was.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, I love that. Exactly. And that's how I think about it, man. It's like it's in the podcast specifically. It's an opportunity
Mm-hmm.
magnet. You don't know exactly
Yep.
how it's going to produce, but you plant seeds and some of them bloom. And it's just a beautiful
hundred
thing.
percent.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. I did want to ask you too on like the podcasting stuff because I know that's another area that you help with not just video production with also too. Make sure you guys are checking out Danny's website. Go to Green Media, and remember Green is gonna be GREENE. Okay, so put the E at the end, media.net. And this guy is preaching, and he's doing exactly what he's preaching. You look at it, he's got a nice hero header video, right? Stories that build brand, and everywhere you look, he's got video throughout his website. So, and they're incredible, right? You do fantastic work. But another thing that you do is the podcasting consulting and everything like that, helping out with that,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting, right? That's not an area of expertise, but I remember we had a contractor maybe 7 years ago, and I'm like, dude, you got to do podcasts. You got to do podcasts. So I think I helped him with like the podcast cover and the name and the direction of it
Mm-hmm.
in the first couple of episodes, and it was Homeowner University, right? He didn't follow through on it, so I never got to really see the significant ROI because you do have to commit,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's just like working out. You can't just go work out a few times and all of a sudden you have six packs, abs, and ball biceps. But dude, I love the idea because it's like Homeowner University, right? It's basically bringing in all these people in the local market that can serve any kind of service for a homeowner that they might be searching for online. And then that way, hey, not only you can help out with SEO, you look like a pro, but you also get the collaborative approach where now all of a sudden all those people who are in your market, they're also sharing it to their network, and they have the same kind of clientele who own these properties. I always thought that if I had a roofing business myself, one of the first things I would do would be launch a podcast, and I would just try to dial in my market. Like, what's your thoughts on a contractor doing their own podcast, and what does that look
Ooh,
like?
now we're speaking my language, brother. Because
Oh, now he's locked in. Now he's excited. He's like, dude, Nick, you just wasted 30
no,
minutes
no,
of my
no.
time,
I
man.
love I love the video talk, but I really love podcasting, man. Um, what you just said, it can work, and it's the
Mhm.
traditional paradigm of a podcast. Here is the paradigm shift that most people aren't aware of. What I do is I do podcast production services for B2B businesses, and the reason why it's
Right on.
B2B is because um, podcasting is the best way to get significant quality time with people that you would otherwise not be able to be in contact with. So if it's your
Mm-hmm.
prospects, if it's your referral partners, or just strategic partners of some sort, people will say yes to a
Mm-hmm.
90-minute podcast where they won't even respond to your invitation for a 10-minute coffee. It's mind
Mm-hmm.
blowing, and it still works. Yes, there's a lot of podcasts out there, but it still works. So if I'm a contractor, right away you got to flip the script and flip it in your mind. The audience building and the consumer of the household, That's a side benefit, but that's not your main thing. If you are going after vanity metrics, you're going to quit quick because it's hard to get views, it's hard to get listens. That should not be your metric. If you could only do one metric, it's how many minutes of quality time are you spending with your key your ideal client or your ideal referral partner. And so that is the paradigm shift. And it's incredible. Like I said before, it's an opportunity magnet, and you can't go in. Here's the thing with podcasting is you can't go in expecting something out of it. You got to go in just open book, and you got to go in curious. If you're the host, you have to be curious, and people don't really want to talk. For me, I don't care about your business and the X's and O's that much. A little bit of that's kind of like the pretext for getting the conversation and going into the podcast, like, hey, let's talk about your business, or let's talk about, but really people want to talk about their journey. They want to talk about their story. It's about the soul of who they are. And man, if you think about it, a lot of business owners, a lot of local business owners have been through hell and back. They've been through the fire, and they've never told anybody about the trials that they have overcome.
Me, nah.
You know what I mean?
I haven't, bro. I've been perfect. I haven't had to deal with any trial. No, dude, 100%. I agree with that. And dude, one thing that I like that you said too, I just want to touch on this before we get too far, is, they won't answer for a 10-minute coffee, but they'll answer for a podcast, right? You just got to think networking, right? Networking. You go to a networking event. You don't say one thing about yourself. You don't say anything about yourself. You don't showboat. You don't do anything, but you ask a trillion questions. That person leaves. That prospect leaves you. What are they thinking in their mind? Man, I really like Nick. I really like Nick. I'm not sure why. I don't know why, but I love Nick, right? People love to tell their story. People love to talk about themselves. And like you're saying, it's not about vanity. It's not about metrics. It doesn't matter, especially if you're niching down. If you're niching down for your local market, right? And that's your B2B, other businesses that you could work for or whatever it might be, your metrics probably won't be that great. But if you have the right listeners, that's all that matters. I would rather have 100 roofers listening to me for an hour in their car ride, right, every single day, building a relationship with me that I don't even know about, right, than a million listens from the wrong people, right? And so that's really all that matters. And then also, dude, you're showing yourself with other expertise. So now all of a sudden you're building credibility. They're sharing the content to their network. So now you're double dipping into that network, right? That's really all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah. And so when I said that key metric, that's the key, but there's so many other benefits. There's countless amount of other benefits, like some of them that you just stated. So I don't want people to get it twisted, like, oh, it doesn't matter if anyone listens or not. Of course, that's great if people listen, and now people are spending time with you, and you're building trust because you're educating, and they get a sense of your personality, and it's incredible. There's no downside to podcasting if you are an honest person, and it's if you got nothing to hide, you should podcast.
And like, dude, I'll tell you this, is what it does is it gets rid of the wrong customer. So if someone's listening to me in their truck, consistently, chances are that they're building a relationship and they don't mind me. And let's say they don't like the podcast, they don't like the way I'm coming off, and they don't have any interest in doing business with me. Chances are, if I got that person on a sales call, it's the same person, so they're not going to be vibing me anyways, right? So if we're not gelling, it kind of weeds them out, because the people who consistently listen to it are the ones who are like, ooh, I'm going to reach out to that person. And then, dude, the sales call, dude, if I get somebody from a podcast, dude, and they start to listen to my content, dude, the objections are down. There's no objections, right? They did their research. They looked into me. They enjoy me as a person, right? People do business with those who they know, like, and trust. Right? So it doesn't matter. And so now, dude, that sales conversation, the sales cycle is now shorter. The close rate's way higher. And then the retention of the customer is way higher.
Exactly, man. Like, vibe attracts tribe. Put that on a Instagram quote or something. Put that on your
Let's
bumper
do it.
sticker.
Hey,
But
hey, I'll use a picture, dude. I'll make an image, not a video, dude. I'll do no nice image. Nah, joking. We'll clip it up. Throw it in there.
yeah, it just saves everybody's time, man. It saves everybody's time. And it doesn't mean they're a
Yeah.
bad person. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means that you two aren't the right fit. You're not going to click. All right, sweet. Moving on. Let's rock and roll. Yeah.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
What else, man? You got anything else before we kind of switch sides here? We're doing a collab podcast. You know, one of my first collabs here. I'm pretty excited with my boy Danny Greene here, the podcast specialist. Man, this guy's one of the best interviewers over here. I was kind of stumbling over my own shoes, but I think he might do a better job.
Oh man, you pulled it out of me, bro. You got me fired up. I love it, man.
Let's go, dude.
Let's speak on that for a second.
Go ahead.
So what we're talking about is content. And what people, they get in their own way and they think that they got to be perfect. They think they got to be smooth. They think they got to look good, sound good. And when it comes down to it, that's not what people want. People just want to feel a connection. They just want to feel something real. And so if you can tap into that who you are, your essence, if you can just practice communicating from a place of who you are and your essence, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter if you stumble. It doesn't matter if your questions get long-winded. It just doesn't matter. Like, those are tiny little things that you can practice, of course, and you can clean it up in the edit if it really bothers you. But yeah.
And it's all reps, dude, just like anything else, right? We're talking about the gym. You go to the gym for a week. Yeah, you're not going to see any results. You go to the gym for a month. You might not see any results. All of a sudden, 6 months, dude, I'm like, oh, dude, I'm looking kind of chiseled, man. Dude, a year, I'm like, dude, I'm feeling myself now, right? Exact same thing with carrying content. Yeah. You're not going to be feeling yourself. You're going to feel awkward, right? Just like in the gym, you don't know what workouts to do. You're looking at other people, making sure they're not looking at you, right? You're like trying to get tips from other people. And then all of a sudden, dude, you're feeling yourself a little bit, right? And that confidence goes up, right? And also you're like, hey, I need to work on this. I need to work on this. Don't aim for perfection. Perfection's never going to happen. But consistency. If you get anything out of this, consistency, please. Yeah. Consistency. Don't just freaking, throw it out there just one time. Just be consistent with it. Make a commitment. Make it a culture, right, in your business. We create content. We tell our story. We get on video. We make sure everybody knows about us, right? Let's do it, baby. Come on, man.
Last little tip, and this is for all communication, but when you feel nervous, you're probably thinking too much about yourself. What you need to think about is who you're trying to help and the impact, the transformation that you're trying to create. And so when you're others focused, you're not going to be self-conscious. It's like, hey, this house, it has a leaky roof. Or say you have a solution for how homeowners can save 20 grand on their roof by just applying this preventative spray or something. Dude,
rejuvenation.
Roof rejuvenation. If that's your mom, like, you're gonna talk with a certain amount of authority and conviction and even love in your voice to be like, Mom, you got to spend $5 grand on this roof rejuvenation because it's gonna save you 20 grand. Like, it's a no-brainer. And if you just take that mindset into communication, you're going to be fine and you're going to be successful.
I like that. Take that consultative approach, right? You're going in as a doctor almost, right? You're trying to figure out what the situation is. And then also too, dude, like you're saying, with the nervousness, it's so true. We all think we're the main character of the story, right? We think that everybody's watching us. We think that everybody knows that we messed up. Everybody knows that we won this and this. But to be honest, nobody cares. You know why? Because they only care about themselves. So when you're going into these videos, when you're going into your sales pick, when you're going into all this stuff, right? They don't care about that. So to worry less about that and make sure that you're talking about them, right? And making them the hero of the story.
Amen. Well, that's a great way to wrap this one up.
And Danny, what's the best way to check you out, right? So we got Greene, remember E at the end, Greene, media.net. Anything else you want them to check out the podcast, right? The Blue Collar Visionary on YouTube and all the major podcast platforms. Anything else?
I'm active on LinkedIn. Yeah,
LinkedIn.
I'm starting to get my own. I got so many different ideas, so sometimes I feel like the channels get a little diluted. So I'm trying to narrow it down, simplify, and go more concentrated. So basically, LinkedIn and the YouTube podcast. I got a link. I got a link tree.
That's why
I got a link tree out there. They can find me with that.
Oh yeah, good call. I saw that. Yeah, dude, I like that though because that's what I'm working on right now. Right, because I had the last business, it was all roofing, right, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna work with every single contractor out there, and I had Construction Tech Talk was the name of the podcast. I switched it to the Roofing Operating System podcast, and I went more narrow, more focus, and less is more. Get rid of the clutter.
Yeah.
Right? It makes life easier for everybody. It makes life easier for you when you're putting together your marketing, your sales approach, your presentations. It makes life easier for your clientele to know what the heck you do and how you can help them. So yeah, I mean that's a good takeaway there. I feel that because I got too many ideas too.
Yeah. I think about the magnifying glass. It's like if you want to burn a hole in something, like you gotta get that sunlight going a real tight dot, and then you gotta burn a hole through the paper.